In that smoky silence he kneeled, and he wept for what he'd done. There's a lonesome wind blowing down the 3-chain road tonight, and it's sending out a warning as she moans. Billy, don't go riding down the 3-chain road tonight. The wind is crying, Billy, please don't go. Billy walked out slowly, he knew what must be done. Somewhere in the darkness, a shot rang out, Billy's time to come. And they say his spirit's out there, you can feel it every time the cold wind blows. And it's warning off the strangers who come by the 3-chain road. Chain road tonight, and it's sending out a warning as she moans. Billy, don't go riding down the 3-chain road tonight. There's a lonesome wind blowing down the 3-chain road tonight, and it's sending out a warning as she moans. Billy, don't go riding down the 3-chain road tonight. Crying, Billy, please don't go.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. And I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. To the old rugged cross I will ever be true, its shame and reproach gladly bear. Then he'll call me someday to my home far away, where his glory forever I'll share. And I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. And I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. exchange it someday for a crown.
Good afternoon to you all, and welcome as we meet to honour the life of Mrs. Dawn Alderson. My name is Dudley Corbett, and I'm indeed honoured to be invited to lead today's farewell service for Dawn and to join with you in expressing our thanks for her life. Excuse me. To say goodbye to her and to support each other in the loss of a much-loved mother, grandmother and great-grandmother. I'm sure that Dawn would not have wanted you to be sad, but for each of you to smile and remember the great times that you shared together. Please feel free to continue in sharing this time of remembrance over some light refreshments here at Parkside at the end of today's service. Now, the family have also asked me to thank you. I got a frog in the neck. I'm sorry. Must be fishing season. The family have also asked me to thank you for this wonderful attendance here today, to assure you of the great comfort it gives them to know that Dawn was so loved and so respected. I will be opening the service a little bit later on. We do have some very eminent speakers to join us very shortly, and then I'll open the service. So count your garden by the flowers, never by the leaves that fall. Count your days by golden hours. Don't remember clouds at all. Count your nights by stars, not shadows. Count your life by smiles, not tears. And with joy throughout your lifetime, count your age by friends, not years. As I sat with family members the other day, I learned that Dawn was born in the old Darwin Hospital in Burnie, which later on became Stubbs's car park, for those of you who don't remember where it was. She was born on the 17th of July 1931 to Myrtle and George Fleming and her siblings George, Jack, Mavis, Kate. Who have I missed out on? I think I've got them all, haven't I? Yes, thank you. At the tender age of 14, she left school and went to work at papermakers at the age of 15. So she was still only a very young girl when she went to papermakers to work. And it was there that she met a handsome young man by the name of Glenn Alderson. And he worked at AWPM, and one thing led to another, and my golly, I think the fellow with the bow and arrow, Cupid, I think they call him, I think he was there as well. He was a good shot, so they were married on the 7th of June 1952 in St George's Church of England in Burnie. They lived for the first few months of their marriage in a garage in Penguin, and none of really all the comforts of home wouldn't have been there, but later on they moved to Saundridge Road in Cooey, and they spent 70 years there, and that's a long, long time. The family grew, as it does in time. Kayleen, Ricky, Bevan, Diane and Debbie. I'm told at last count there were 12 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. She was known as Nan or Nana, and she loved them all dearly with a passion, as nanas do. She had, usual women's taste in television, I suppose. Home and Away. She loved the quiz shows. She loved a show called Tipping Point and Pointless. But then she was also a fan of the cricket matches as well. So she watched the cricket. She watched Bonanza, Prisoner, and Little House on the Prairie, all those sort of things. And no doubt she spent many hours in front of the TV catching up with all those sort of things. I'm told also that she had a green thumb as a vegetable and flower gardener, and she did most of the physical work in the garden, and and later on Glenn would take visitors around the garden and give them some of his peas or his pumpkins or never mind, he always knew that there'd be something good there after Dawn had finished. We all know that Dawn was a country music fanatic, and she devoted a lot of her life to serving FM country station in Wynyard. And a little bit later on we're going to have an audio tribute from Big Mal from the station, FM 106. I've forgotten, what is it, Merrily? Merrily, of course it is, 106.1. Merrily, she's coming up shortly and she'll tell us. She answered the phones there for a lot of years, and when you rang in for a request or a cheerio, whatever, and Dawn was on the other end of the line, and she was so pleased to talk to everybody, and she did such a wonderful job for many, many years. And I see some people here today representing the FM station over there, and she'll be sadly missed around the place over there, there's no doubt about that. She was hands-on not only with the garden, but with the terracing at the back of the house, and it's a rather steep block at the back of their house, and she lifted a lot of bricks. And look, if she'd have been given an earlier start, she could have helped with the pyramids, because my word, she done a good job of the terracing, and it's still in place today. So no landslips dare interfere with Dawn's work there. She was a very clever knitter, and her hands were never idle. She was a wonderful knitter and a good cook, and she cooked steak like you wouldn't believe, they tell me. She lived for her family, and she has been known to go without herself for family and visitors. If visitors arrived unexpectedly, then she herself would go without so that the visitors could be fed. And she was that sort of woman, and family came first with Dawn. And certainly you had a wonderful mother, you people, and I know that you're all very thankful for that. But she'll be so sadly missed, not only around the circles in the street and the FM station, but family especially. You'll all have your own very special memories, and you'll forever remember the great legacy that Dawn has left for you. She left an impact, all right, didn't she? Yeah. But she was always good for a laugh and a bit of a skite when you rang, and good on you, Dawn. I'll miss you. Family members are going to join us today, and friends as well, and pay a tribute to this lovely lady. And first of all, on behalf of the FM station, I'd like to call on Merrily, and her voice would be very familiar with you people who listen to 106.1, and I'll call on Merrily now to come forward and regale us with a story or two and a tribute, no doubt heartfelt. So Merrily, it's all yours. Stay as long as you like.
Big thank you to Spud. I don't think he's left anything for me to say, but I do appreciate the family inviting me to say a few words today. I can't cover everything. We've got a lot of other speakers, and I can only speak for the country crew. Dawn took over many years ago, answering the phones for us from my mum. That wasn't yesterday, I can tell you. And she just marvelled at doing it. She was great. I think she was one of the greatest telephonists, if you could call it that that FM station ever had. She would be today if ill health hadn't have taken over. And it always worried me. We could see in later years her health declining. And I often used to say to Pete, look, it really terrifies me that she's going to fall and hurt herself, and I'd have to ring up and tell the family that. And boy, oh boy, it was one of the hardest things, so I'm glad that I didn't have to do that. But she always loved country music. She loved her family, but she was such a goer. She had more energy than all this room, I reckon, put together. She could come to the station with us when we were on a Saturday night. We were there till, midnight at one stage, but then they put it down to 11 o'clock, which was much better. She'd go home, she'd turn the radio on, she'd listen to Bob Spence, and that went to the wee hours of the morning. She'd probably get up on the Sunday morning and then go off to some country thing. Ray Creeley's, she'd always be there every Sunday, never missed. And she just used to really delight in having people ring up the station for their Cheerios and song requests. She knew her music, my word she did. And often she'd say to me, "That's not country, is it?" I'd say, "No, Dawn, you know it's not." She definitely knew her country music. But I remember one time in particular was when Trevor Day came up to the Italian Club in Launceston. She didn't want to miss it. We'd been on air on the Saturday night. And so anyway, she went home, we went home. We got up to the Italian Club the next day in Launceston. Sure enough, here's Dawn's car, her and two other ladies. Dawn was fast asleep, but she got there. She wasn't going to miss out on seeing Trevor Day. And she was the same when it came to any country music. She just loved it. And we were very, very privileged to have Dawn on our side. And many years she worked with Gary Beaumont and I doing the country program. I had a bit of a spell and Pete took over from me. And she came back after Pete and I got married and she said, "You know, I like him." And I thought to myself, "Oh, that's a plus, because if Dawn didn't like you, that was it." As the family no. She didn't mince words. So I thought, well, this is all right. We can all work together, which we did. And she was just an extraordinary person. I could probably go on for ages, which I won't. But in my opinion, Dawn was a very special lady. And by lady, I mean lady. She was well respected by everybody that knew her, loved by her family. She always put her family first, no matter what. Even though she loved her country music, she often, as Bud pointed out, went without, so if she could provide for others in her family. And that was just Dawn. That's the way she was. She used to love the music of the late Frank Sargent, and she was really pleased when Frank recorded Baz's Way. He recorded it on a compilation album. She used to say when we'd get to the station, "Are you going to play track 6? I'd say, "But I played it last week, Dawn." "That's all right. Are you going to play track 6? "I think you should play track 6. I reckon we nearly drove the listeners mad with Baz's Way. But she was really pleased then when he brought it out on his own CD. And that was track 4. So we always had to go about whether we was going to play track 6 or track 4, either way. But she sold a lot of CDs for a lot of people. She was really pleased to be able to do that. And I can only speak as I find, and she was always a wonderful person in our book. She went through a lot, and she had a lot of sickness in the end, but you couldn't wish her back to be in pain. But I know once she got up to those pearly gates the other Saturday, I'll bet that our good friend Frank Sargent was there to greet her and to welcome her with his song Baz's Way. And I reckon all the other country musos would have been there and they'd present her with a gold telephone because that's what she would have wanted. That's what she needed. As I said, she was the best telephonist Coast FM had ever had. Rest in peace, Dawn. You've left us so many memories, and our thoughts go out to the family. Thank you.
Thanks. Well done, Merrily. Good on you, mate. Watch the step. Thank you for that, Merrily, and yeah, she was right into the country music, all right, and Dawn, the country music fraternity is the poorer for your passing, but certainly the richer for your legacy. Yeah, well done, Dawn. I'd now like to call on a young lady called Diane, who knew Dawn rather well, I believe. Bringing some support with you, Dawn, that's a good idea. Yes. Yeah, yes, please. It's all yours.
Our mum, a family-orientated mum who lived for and loved her family. A lion-hearted mum, fiercely protective, who came out fighting if one of her babies was hurt. And we were fiercely protective of our mum as well. Our mum, who went without to ensure we were fed and lived comfortably. Our mum, who seemed to know when help was needed and turned up out of the blue to help us out. Our mum that reminded us of good values and raised good children. Our mum who gave prospective son and daughter-in-laws the rules of how to treat her children. Our mum who got those knitting needles clacking for each and every grandchild on the way. Our mum and Nan, who ensured that each of her children and grandchildren were fine and was always ready to help out. Our mum and Nan, who remained strong for us when her husband Glenn and our dad and Pop passed away. Our mum and Nan, who found solace at her beloved Coast FM and helped out on Saturday Night Country for 20 plus years. And in the words of station manager and Brian Shearston, mum was an important part of Coast FM. Our mum and Nan, at the age of 71, when she found out her first great-grandchild was on the way, and said, "Oh, good Lord, I'm too young to be a great Nan." Our mum, Nan, and great Nan, who waited in the waiting room while the eldest great-grandchild was born, and the love in her eyes when she held him for the very first time, and the same love for all the following great-grands. Our mum, Nan, and great Nan, who had to hold me up while mourning the loss of her grandson. Our mum, Nan, and great Nan, who made so many friends over the years that we now call family. Our mum, Nan, great Nan, who fought so hard to stay with us because she was so scared of how hurt we would be at her passing. You done us proud, Mum. They don't make them like our mama anymore. We're sending you off to heaven with all our love and thank yous into the waiting arms of Dad, your grandson Kurt, Nana, Uncles George and Jack, Auntie Mavis and daughter-in-law Gail. Outside the Golden Gate with arms wide open is Pop Fleming saying, "Come on, my right-hand man, we've work to do." We love you, Mum, Nan and great Nan. Rest in peace.
Our dear Mum and Nan, our family chain is broken and nothing seems the same, but as God calls us one by one, our chain will link again. We love you dearly and we'll miss you so much, Nan, Mum. Love your daughter, Debbie, grandchildren, Lavina, Pren and Matt. It's not goodbye, it's good night. Good night.
Thank you for that, ladies, and I think I can well imagine Dawn sitting around now in the Golden Country Music Circle upstairs with all the all of her favourite people, and yes, they'd be having a pretty big session, I reckon, if Dawn knew anything about it. I'd now like to call on Mr. Greg Swain to come forward and to share a story and a thought or two with us, and after Greg we'll have an audio recording from Big Mal from 106.1. So Greg, it's all yours. Thank you, sir.
I think one thing you're going to get from today so far, and it's not going to be any different from anyone else, is that family meant everything to Dawn. So Dawn Alderson, who is she to me? She's my auntie, even though throughout my younger years, right up until my 40s, I did not have much to do with Dawn, not through anything else other than families going their different ways throughout life. Then one day in 2007, a friend of mine asked me to give him a hand at Coast FM on a Saturday night for a country music show. This is where Dawn was reintroduced back into my life. I was informed by my friend Trevor Goodwin, I thought I'd better say Goodwin because another Trevor was named, that Dawn Alderson would be helping out with the show. My response was, really? Dawn Alderson? I do remember that I do have an auntie, Dawn, along the line, who I haven't seen for a long time. And you know something within that, and this is where we get to the family part, family meant a lot to Dawn, and I'm not just talking about the immediate family, because the immediate family to Dawn was everything to her. But I'm talking about all the family, cousins, nieces, nephews, etc. Because as soon as I met Dawn again at the station, she knew all about me. She knew what my family was doing, what was going on. Dawn was always in touch with family. To say the least, Dawn at Coast FM was an absolute champion, answering calls and writing down the details and Cheerios to be read over the radio. But there was one small problem. Dawn, being brought up in the era that she was, had a handwriting style of chord cursive that I can only say every doctor known to mankind had the same style. I'd be reading out a Cheerio and I'd have to start making stuff up to finish a Cheerio because I couldn't read it. That's when I asked Dawn why she worked out in the other room with the calls, and she said, of course, that's where she was put and it didn't interfere with the show. Well, I said to her, how do you feel about, instead of just answering the phones and writing down the information, you also read out some of them over the radio? There was a slight pause and a look, and then she said slowly, I can do that. So Dawn was now becoming a DJ. Awesome. Plus we extended our team with Diane, or as I call her, Crackerjack, coming on board. And then occasionally there was also Lavina, there was Sam, and there was Brodie's on nights. They were awesome nights. It wasn't long before the doctor writing came into play. Dawn was reading out a Cheerio that she had written down on paper and she stopped. Now you've got to remember in radio, a small pause is half a second. A long pause is 2 seconds. Well, this pause, with me looking on at Dawn, was getting close to 10 seconds. So I just jumped in and started talking. Once we got the next song playing, I said to Dawn, what's wrong? Her answer, I couldn't read my writing. With work issues, I had to wind up my time with the show for a few years before returning once again with the team of Dawn, Diane and Applejack hit the airwaves. Dawn loved her country music. That's no doubt, as we've already heard. And the job that she was doing, and I can honestly say that in all my time, I only saw her once where she got really upset. There was a caller that was not very nice to her, and we'll just leave that at that. But Dawn was very pleasant to this person on the phone. But when she got off the phone, she was very upset and vocal about how nasty this person was. Well, in true style, after talking about the incident with Dawn, we did two things. We addressed the issue over the radio about the abuse not being tolerated to our volunteers, as we knew this person would still be listening. And then we dedicated a song to this person. Now, this song was called My Chihuahua Dog. And if you know this song, you also know it's only a song that you ever want to hear once in your lifetime. Sam, do you agree? We had a competition once, there was no prize, to see if anyone could stump Dawn with a song that she couldn't find. Dawn had a bucket load of music, if you've just heard beforehand, and anyone who saw what she took to Coast M each week knows what I'm talking about. Well, it took a few weeks before someone stumped Dawn with a song, but it was a great time with Dawn smiling every time someone thought they'd got her, but they hadn't. The years moved on and Dawn eventually had to stop coming to the station, but she was always onto everything that was going on at the station. And I know a highlight for Dawn was the day that she received life membership at Coast FM. So in finishing up, I have just a few more words to say, and they are lines from a song. And if I tried to sing these words, it would be like the Chow Dog song, something you would not want to hear again. I never stopped learning new things about Dawn throughout her life, and even in a passing, I'm still learning stuff. I mean, who'd ever think that Dawn's favourite song for Coastline Request would be Wired for Sound? I mean, think of the words of that song. I like small speakers. I like tall speakers. Hit that music, they're wired for sound. Walking about with a head full of music, cassette in my pocket, I'm going to use it. Stereo out in the street, you know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I'm now imagining Dawn, just like you guys probably are, walking around Heaven's Golden Gates, probably on roller skates, but with a country music playing. On a country show, we played a song by Mary Duff called Voice of an Angel, and the chorus was this. And who are you who guides me, my messenger of light? Will you walk beside me now, beyond the day and night? Who are you who guides me with words I cannot write? It's the voice of an angel, the voice of an angel, the voice of an angel, come hold me close this night. So I say in closing, I thank you, Dawn, for all your help and all the memories that you've given, not just me, but everyone that you met. To Dawn's children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, I finish with this. As Diane said, Mum has grown her angel wings, and my prayer for you all is this, that you will think of Dawn now, walking beside you beyond the day and night. God bless.
Thank you for that, Greg. And as I said earlier, I would be opening the service for anyone who does care to share a story with us, and I'll give you that opportunity now before we move on to listening to Big Mal and see what words of wisdom he's going to impart. So is there anyone who would care to share something with us? It looks like you might be saving all your plaudits and your stories for a little bit later on around the urn. So we'll move on, and we'll now have our people in the operating room press the button, and we'll hear some words of wisdom from the big fella himself. Mal, it's all yours.
Those here that work with me on the coastline, and I know that there are those many people on the northwest coast who will share in this as well. Dawn Alderson, of course, is Diane's mum, and Dawn has been wonderful on the coastline. She's always had a song played for her. It doesn't matter whether she's felt crook or whatever she's done in life. She's always been part of the actual coastline with requesting her favourite song, which we will play at the moment. And sadly, Dawn passed away last Saturday. Now, Dawn will be remembered for many decades of her supporting Coast FM country presenters. And country presenters, even some of them are not alive nowadays, but you go back, I reckon she's done it over a couple of decades at least. I've been thinking about it, and I can remember through the 90s she was doing it, and even up to recently she was supporting the, before she became a little bit unwell, she's supporting the wonderful country people by taking phone calls, requests, Cheerios, and chatting to people from all over the northwest coast. And her commitment to the community station here at Coast FM was actually, in my words, exemplary. And Dawn will be sadly missed by many people. many people indeed. Now, Dawn was also presented with the wonderful life membership of Coast FM in the year of 2017. And I remember we actually went to Dawn's house, the committee, and presented her with a membership so that Dawn was just brought into our wonderful area of being a life member, and for all the different wonderful things that she's done over the years. Now, also, I know those that are sitting around this desk with me at the moment would agree with this, that to Diane, Bevan, Ricky, Debbie, Kayleen and all the families, the Coast FM Coastline team, past and present, wish to say we're thinking of you. Great big hugs over the airways to you, Di, and the family. And also those who knew Dawn over the years, we pay a tribute of appreciation and thanks for the support and the life of Dawn. And her big song is this one. I think you would all agree with what's just been said, and I hope you do, because she was a great lady and she did some wonderful things in supporting Coast FM over the years and talking to people all over the coast. So this is it, and the guy did it with roller skates on, but I've never seen Dawn with her roller skates on.
That would have been fun to watch.
But Dawn, here it comes just for you. This is your signature song, Cliff Richard, or Sir Cliff as he's known now, with Wired for Sound.
Yes, well, thank you, Mal, big fella, and thank you to the people who have come forward and joined in the tributes today, and they did an exceptional job, and I think they are worthy of a very respectful round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Well, we're now going to go back briefly in time in Dawn's life and have a look at some very treasured family photos and listen to some of Dawn's very favourite music in the background. So let's go back in history.
Covered with a purple gown as I ride through the hills today. The breezes are chilly as the sun goes down, and we know that winter's on its way. When the days grow shorter and the nights grow long, I'll dream beside my campfire then, leisurely strumming on my old guitar when the winter winds are blowing again. When the winter winds are blowing from the west and the pale moon rises o'er the mountain crest, I'll cover my pony with a rug of fur, roll up in my blankets then, for summer is over and the nights grow long and the winter winds are blowing again. Silence is broken by a dingo's call, away up in the mountains high. The cattle are bedded by the waterfall, to the rangeland I'll never say goodbye. When the days grow shorter and the nights grow long, I'll dream beside my campfire then, leisurely strumming on my old guitar when the winter winds are blowing again. When the winter winds are blowing from the west and the pale moon rises o'er the mountain crest, I'll cover my pony with a rug of fur, roll up in my blankets then, for summer is over and the nights grow long and the winter winds are blowing again.
Under the tall macrocoppers stands an old place I call home. My heart lies there with the memories where the clover and green grasses grow, where the kookaburra sings in the morning. In the distance you'll hear the cattle call. Under the tall macrocoppers, good times were had by us all. As I sit and look across the valley, and I feel the wind in my hair, I think about the fun we all had here. I remember the love that we shared. Cricket was played on the woodyard, and the boys would enjoy a good beer. Under the tall macrocoppers, everything happened round here. Nighttime when the wood fires were burning, and we'd roast ourselves a spud or two, we'd cook some scones in the fry pan and sing with the bright moon in view. I remember the tall fishing stories and the big one that always got away, and the corn grew as tall as the man fern, came from miles away to cart in the hay. My brother broke my mother's only bread knife on a lobster so big it was said. A slice was cut out from the pudding and replaced by a teacup instead. Those days are gone now forever, with the lupins on the side of the road. Under the tall macrocoppers, good times were had by us all. Under the tall macrocoppers, there stands an old place I call home.
When we dance together, my world's in disguise. It's a fairyland tale that's come true. And when you look at me with those stars in your eyes, I could waltz across Texas with you. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a storybook ending, I'm lost in your charms, and I could waltz across Texas with you. Oh, buddy, now. And Leon. My heart is Heartaches and troubles are just up and gone the moment that you come in view. And with your hand in mine, dear, I could dance on, and I could waltz across Texas with you. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a storybook ending, I'm lost in your charms, and I could waltz across Texas with you.
Yes, a taste of 106.1, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the Alderson backing choir for helping Slim with that song there a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, well done. It was great to relive those memories. God made a wonderful mother, a mother who never grows old. He made her smile of the sunshine, and he moulded her heart of pure gold. In her eyes he placed bright shining stars. In her cheeks fair roses they grew. God made a wonderful mother, and he gave that dear mother to you. So Dawn, you rest in the arms of the angels in a place of peace and love, watching over us always from heaven up above. You guide me through our worries and help us through the day. You're always by our side. You never went away. Our bond cannot be broken, made from love so pure. Death can never break that bond, it lives on forevermore. You rest in the arms of the angels, free now from illness and pain, just waiting for the day when we are together again. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear. Tell them how much you love them and that you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, then you'll have no regrets about today. We're about to come to the end of our chapel service today, but the family have expressed the wish that they would like the Irish blessing included before we move on to the graveside. And I shall read that to you now, and this would be Dawn's wish for you people who remain. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you safely in the hollow of his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, could I now invite you to stand as we commence the final journey with our dear friend and lay her to rest.
We've done us proud to come this far, down through the years to where we are, side by side, hand in hand, we've lived and died for this great land. We've done us proud. I sailed the sea in search of freedom. I tilled the soil for seed to grow. I built the fences to hold the cattle. I mined the earth in search of gold.
tended the sheep of golden fleeces. I formed a union to win fair pay. I built a railroad to cross the country. I fought a war for my country's sake. We've done us proud to come this far, down through the years to where we are, side by side, hand in hand. We've lived and died for this great land. We've done us proud. I kept a home and raised a family. I taught your children as if my own. I painted pictures to show the beauty. I wrote the stories to keep the flame. We've done us proud to come this far, down through the years to where we are, side by side, hand in hand. We've lived and died for this great land. We've done us proud. We've done us proud. I worked the factories. I worked the land. I built the houses. I made the plans. Side by side. I drive the highway. Hand in hand. I right the wrong. We've lived and died. I reach for glory. For this great land. I sing the songs. We've done us proud to come this far. 200 years to where we are, side by side, hand in hand. We've lived and died for this great land.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoker, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue, hey, true blue, give it to me straight, face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue, true blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a bind? Or just Vegemite? True blue, I'm asking you, hey true blue, can you bear the load? Will you tie it up with wire just to keep the show on the road? Hey true blue, hey true blue, now be fair to you. Is your heart still there? If they sell us out like sponge cake, do you really care? Hey, true blue. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when she's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, I'm asking you. True blue, is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, true blue.
So welcome to this brief graveside service today, ladies and gentlemen, and we also welcome those who are watching today on live stream who can't be with us for a variety of reasons, but I know that their sympathy and sorrow is being shared out there in listening land and watching land as well. So you will know a lot of the people who are joining with us today via live stream, so it's a big welcome to them as well. Don't forget that there is another big welcome awaiting you back at Parkside, where refreshments will be served and you'll be able to catch up with each other and swap a few stories and relive a few beautiful moments that you've shared with our lovely lady. So in grief at her passing, but in gratitude for her life, today we have gathered to say a final farewell to Dawn and to thank her for the privilege of being numbered amongst those who grieve. May you all find comfort, richness and example in your many memories. May you find strength and support in your love for one another, and may you find peace in your hearts. So it's not the shape of our faces, nor our hands that make us human, nor our legs, nor the lustre of our hair or the texture of our skin. We are human because of our hearts and the souls that fill those hearts. Dawn's soul was private, it was strong, it was proud, qualities that have been passed on to you, her family. And by her example, she has shown you how to care for one another, to nurture and to support one another. And may I suggest to you as a family that you cherish this great strength that Dawn has shown you, that you honour her memory by caring for and supporting each other, to seek out and to affirm the very best in each other. Today we celebrate love and we celebrate life. The grief that we feel today is a response of that love, for if there is no love, then there is no grief. And it is a mark of our love for Dawn that we experience this great sadness at her passing. I think Dawn may well have said this. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glint on snow. I am the sunshine on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awake in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the stars shining at night. Although I am now at rest, I am the sunset in the west. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I am not there, I do not die. So heed these words that here I say, that I am the love that will guide your way. So a mother's love is something that no one can explain. It is made of deep devotion, of sacrifice and pain. It is endless and unselfish and enduring, come what may, for nothing can destroy it or take that love away. It is patient and forgiving when all others are forsaking, and it never fails or falters, even though the heart is breaking. It believes beyond believing when the world around condemns, and it glows with all the beauty of the rarest, brightest gems. And that sums our dawn up so beautifully. It is also the family wish that we share in the Lord's Prayer today. And just before we come to the final part of our service, I will read the Lord's Prayer, and those of you who would like to join in with me, please feel free to do so. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. So just before we come to our part called the Committal, I would like once again to offer my personal sympathy to the family, to thank you for the great honour of allowing me to help in a small way say farewell to Dawn, and also on behalf of Parkside Funerals. Thank you for having us. It has been a great honour. So we have now reached that part of our service we call the Committal, where we commit Dawn to the next stage of her journey. These then are the last rites in the natural life of Mrs. Dawn Alderson. We have met to pay tribute and to say farewell, so tenderly and reverently we commit Dawn to Mother Earth, from which all life comes and to which, in the end, all life returns. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, grateful for the life that has been lived and for all that life has meant to each and every one of us. So we now leave Dawn in peace, and with the greatest of respect we bid her farewell. Thus thinking of her, let us leave this place in quietness of spirit and live with concern for one another, resolved that we who live on and those who come after us shall have life and have it more abundantly as per Dawn's wishes. And those who think that there is a time limit when grieving have never lost a piece of their hearts. Farewell, Dawn. DA the DJ. Yeah, enjoy the heavenly music and the company, and thank you for a million wonderful memories. Rest in peace forever, Dawn. Farewell. Goodbye, mate. Thank you.